Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meaty69, and we are back with the Tankenstein. Now, I've wanted to do this video for a few days, but because I have a newish contributor account, this tank wasn't on there. So, Wargaming have now kindly gave it to me, so I have managed to do a video. Now, it is a tier 7 German heavy, and it has 2 guns. Now, this is Tank Compare. I've added all the tier 7 heavies. Now, the first, there's 2 Tankensteins there, one with the 105mm and one with the 130mm. Now, the 130mm is the one with the big damage. 460 alpha, can do up to 500, but just look at that DPM. It's 1638. It is the worst DPM of any tier 7 heavy. And the one, the 105mm, it's 1795 DPM, which the only tank that's worse than that is the E6, the Goose tank, the tier 7 Goose tank. So the DPM on them is really, really bad. On the 130mm, it's 3.56 seconds a minute. Rounds per minute. That's not even 4 seconds. It's 16, I believe, 16 something, 16.8 seconds per reload for a 460 alpha. Sometimes you get a little bit more, sometimes you get a little bit less. Same with the 105mm. The alpha is 310. So I've been hitting 288. I've been hitting a little bit more. So the DPM is really, really bad. The rate of fire is really, really bad. Now, the penetration is actually not too bad. The 105 and the 130, there is not much different. 198 for the 105 and 196 for the 130. Now, the Tiger P, it is pretty good. The Tiger, the VK, I put 2 VK4503s in there. I'm not too sure why. But the penetration is actually not so bad. Now, it doesn't really matter what gun you put on for penetration, because there is really not much different. The 130mm is 296, which is 2 less. So it all depends what you want to put on, whether you want to go for the higher alpha or you want to go for the DPM. Now, I have got one battle with the high DPM, and I've got one high battle with the high alpha. Now, at the bottom here, you'll see, on Blitzstars, over 90 days, the average win rate is 58%, which is not too bad. But average damage is 1,300. And the survival rate is 46%. So, over 90 days, more people die in this than they survive. And 1,300 damage for a tier 7 heavy is not great, to be honest. It's okayish, but it's not great. So, let's fire away with our first battle. This is with the 105mm gun. It is a tier 6 battle, and it's not a bad battle. It's okay. So the reload is 10.4 seconds. I have got the gun rammer on this. I would, as I've said, I would use this gun over the 130mm. Now look at this KV2 Tankenstein. You fire. Now, to be honest, that's probably the best thing about this tank. Now, I've never actually... This tank has been around for about 2 years now, I believe. It wasn't the last Halloween, because that was the Dracula and the Helsing. It was 2 years ago, which is actually the time I started playing Blitz. I started playing Blitz as this event was on, so I missed out on this tank. So that's why I really asked Wargaming if I can have one for my contributor account. I've never ever played it, not at any time, and you don't really see many about now. But now they have come into the store and you can buy it for money. Is it really worth buying if you've missed out on one? Now, this was £39. £39. That is a lot of money. A lot of money for a meh tank. It's not rubbish, but it's not really good. If I owned this on my account, I would never play it. It's not a tank I would choose to go to for a bit of fun. I would never ever play it. So for £40 for a tier 7 heavy, that is quite steep for me. That, even for me, I'm known for buying a lot of tanks. Now, considering you've got tanks like the Lupus, which in my eyes is one of my favourite premium tanks, I can't really remember how much I paid for that, but I'm sure it was along the lines of about £23 or £24, something like that. So for £15 more, you're getting a tank that's a lot worse. A lot worse. And for me, it's just not worth it. Now, the armour on this thing is, again, it's okay. And this battle, I got lucky with a lot of bounces. Now, this was the only battle. This was near enough my first or second battle. And I've done... It was an okay battle. So we got some bounces, we got some damage, and I haven't played this tank with this cannon since this battle. I got quite a nice battle. We got 2.8k damage, 44,000 credit, a steel wall, and we got 2 kills. So the credit making in this thing is not too bad. You can bounce quite a lot of shots. Against tier 6, you will bounce quite a lot of shots, because the armor, like I said, is okay for tier 6. In tier 8 battles, you're not going to bounce many. You're really not going to bounce many. And since I changed to the 130mm, the one that does more damage, I think I've had about 15 battles before I can manage to get a decent enough battle to actually put on the channel. I was getting 900 damage, 800 damage, 1200 damage, dying first. I had a really tough time with this 130mm. Now, this was actually the last battle I played with the 130mm. And as soon as I made this video, I have switched the cannon back to the 105, because I don't think I'm now I've made a video on this tank. I don't actually think I'm ever going to play it again, because it's just not enjoyable, especially with this 130mm. Yes, you can do a little bit of damage, you could do high rolls, but the gun is just not good enough for me, and it's not fun. The tank itself is quite slow. It's pretty much, I have looked at the speed and the speed with all the other heavies, and it does sit in line with them, so I can't moan too much about the speed. It's 35 kilometers now, but it just seems a lot slower. It just seems a hell of a lot slower. Now, 470 out for that shot, so that was not a bad shot, and I have had some really good snapshots in this tank. And then other times I've been aiming at a tank and it's just gone right in front of me. That one I was a bit too slow, fair enough. I didn't manage to get the Vindicator, but the reload, like I said at the start of this video, is 16.8 seconds. That's a long time to sit back and wait for a missed shot or a shot that hasn't penned, just like that. I know it's got spaced armor, but I'm using AP, and it's very troll. The front of the Vindicator is very, very trollish. So you miss a shot, he's only on 100 HP, and then you've got to wait 16 seconds for another reload. So we do manage now to take him out. We do get shot back. And that's what you've got to do in this tank. You make sure you're hard cover. Now, what I've been finding myself to do, especially on maps like this map, with a lot of mediums, you'd go left. With a lot of heavies, you'd go right. I tend to just go where my tank is, because it's just too slow to go left with the mediums. So in any really map, if the team say, unless the whole team is going, and you get shots like this, SU-152, and that's what's annoying. And you will get a lot of shots like this. Now, I'm not saying this tank is really, really bad. There's some things that are frustrating with it, and there are some good things, like when you do HE shots. I've got a couple of shots where I've done 648 damage again on the back of a AMX, the tier 7 AMX or an Emil. So it can be fun with the big tank. Now, that battle we finished with 2,000 damage. We missed a few shots, but it's an okay tank, and I'm going to end the video on that. I'm not going to say it's a really bad tank, and I'm not going to say it's a really good tank. It's an okay tank. It's not a tank worth £38, £39. No way. So that, for me, the price was, for me, is what stopped me buying this tank. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.